TV Live, I'm Michael Ayala. It is time now for our Talk Back segment, where each day we post a question on my Facebook page and Court TV's social media pages. We gather your comments and questions and respond to them on the show. Today's question was, do you believe Christian Bahena Rivera's testimony? Still with me, former federal prosecutor David Katz and Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter joins us as well. All right, our first comment is from Janet Vogel. She says, after watching his testimony, I believe his story. I think he was framed due to being an illegal. Americans are very judgmental of illegals. And Chanley, I'll start with you because that certainly is probably true. And it's also one of the themes put forth by the defense.
Yes, very open about it from day one of jury selection, making sure prospective jurors were aware that the client was an illegal immigrant and here unlawfully, and making sure they gauge those feelings about that. You need biases before they impaneled a jury here that could be open-minded about it, maybe understand. And I think through the theme of the defense, hopefully trying to find jurors who may be empathetic to his story, trying to come to America to send money back to his family in Mexico, provide a better life for them, and testimony from defense witnesses, from his daughter's mother to his aunt to his uncle, is that he was a nice family guy that really never showed violent tendencies in the past.
Now, I know, David, you've actually tried cases out in Iowa, and your thought is that the juries are very fair there.
Well, I think the juries are very fair, and I think that he had to present the fact that he was an illegal alien, although it seems like a strange strategy. But I think he had to do it, number one, because it was pervasive. You know, he was Trump's second or third least favorite illegal alien in the United States, undocumented worker. But on top of that, he needed to explain why he didn't tell his, what I think, fanciful story to the police at the time. And that was that he feared deportation. He feared that the police wouldn't really protect him. They would believe what he had to say, and before you know it, he'd be deported, and one of those two guys could retaliate against his relative. And so the jury had to understand that he's not a citizen who would not think of the police in that way. That citizen would think, of course, they're going to protect me and my family. I'm going to tell them what really happened. So I think that they had to go with that. By the way, Chanley's reporting has been just terrific.
Yes, as it always is. Our next comment from Evelyn Nagel. I thought the boyfriend might have done it, but now that he has the ridiculous story about two masked men, I think the suspect is guilty. And that's interesting, David, because, you know, the story that you're telling, hoping that this jury buys in and creates some reasonable doubt, has actually done the opposite for that particular viewer.
I think if I were going to just write a novel about this, I think the plausible one is that one person did it, and one person didn't want to have their car identified, and so they laid it off on an illegal alien who would believe him. And so they figured that they would have somebody transport them to the murder site. But they don't have a motive. Everyone has said, your reporter has reported, she was like Snow White. Everybody loved her. No one had a motive. And her boyfriend, two-timing her or not, trying to or not, just did not have a motive to kill her. Those things don't happen. I know in a murder mystery, but in an Agatha Christie, he'd be the suspect I would excuse first.
Absolutely, and the jury is going to get this case probably tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. Chanley Painter, thank you so much for sticking around. David Katz, always a pleasure to have you. I'm Michael Ayala. It's been a pleasure being with you. Up next in